Favorite ingredients for tilapia fish food. Okay, so let's start off. Pleasant good evening, everybody. Pleasant good night, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're watching or listening or whatever with this video. This is Riley again for another video on tilapia. Now, I'm not new to the tilapia keeping, breeding, and caring. I have done several videos on this. Today's video is about the ingredients that is primarily found within tilapia fish food, right? So we're talking about the formulation of your fish food, your food fish food, yeah, food fish, the feed that you actually feed your fish, right? Somewhat it's different in composition than the normal aquarium fish food. Now, tilapia food fish is also known as freshwater fish in many species, in many places throughout the world, right? And from you're actually purchasing uh, tilapia food fish, and I have to say tilapia food fish because you have tilapia fish that is used as ornamental fish within the hobby of fish keeping, right? So that is the reason why it is specified tilapia food fish, right? Now, tilapia is a native fish in Africa. It's found in Africa, right? It was introduced in the world, throughout the world, should I say. It's practically found in over 135 plus countries, and it is primarily used as a protein source. Now, tilapia food fish is referred to um, in different species um, as a main goal for protein, right? And it is actually taken care of differently when compared to ornamental fish, right? Okay, no, tilapia fish is considered ideal for farming, in keeping in high volume, and it can be kept in small spaces, but a lot of I call it aeration is needed, right? And you have to be very careful not to keep mixed stock cultivation, or else you might just choke your your pond or your system. And I've done a video on that a few weeks ago. Now, having the ability, no, that's the tilapia, have the ability, right, to actually stave off the common disease that is found in normal ornamental fish, right? And it is able to, is really considered a tough fish. It is cheap, and the food that you actually feed it, in compared to ornamental fish food, it's cheaper. For example, in Jamaica, it's about probably about 4,500 for a pound of caustic pellets, right? That's for a pound, guys, right? For tilapia fish food, it's roughly about $80. So you can see the comparative difference. $80 for a pound of tilapia fish food. Now, tilapia fish is considered aggressive and hardy, right? And it's easy to breed. Once you have the male and the female, it's easy to breed, and that's the reason why you're always warned yeah, that you must end up with males in one space and females in one space, or else they will actually breed out of proportion. uh Tilapia food to mostly vegetable fish food, right? Tilapia food fish can grow uh to a size that is capable of harvesting, meaning that you can actually sell it to local supermarkets or persons wanting this type of fish to cook as a meal. Now, tilapia food fish is also considered as white fish, right? It has a bland flavor, and yeah, bland type of flavor, right? And is considered a great substitute for like snapper, grouper, flounder, and some other fish that we normally get from those fishermen who goes out to sea, right? Tilapia food fish is practically farmed all year round, and for species that for species that are, experience winter cold periods, having some amount of heater within the water space. Usually within the heater is normally placed within the filtration system. It depends on how your system is set up anyway, right? um you will find that these fish will actually survive through these conditions. Tilapia, some persons say that they don't eat tilapia fish, right? Considering that tilapia is found in several different, I call it now, several different ways in the supermarket. For example, fish stick, fish pellets, fish burgers, in the frozen fish species that, you think that it's another fish, but it's practically tilapia. So some persons might be tricked, and they might actually consume it, but to them, they won't go to the shop and say, "Hey, give me 3 pound of freshly caught tilapia fish." Right? Tilapia food fish are fed on a wide variety of feed. Juveniles are like omnivores. They practically consume anything that comes to their mouth. They are like opportunistic feeders, and they remind me to some extent of some cichlids in which I have. Uh, Adult tilapia, on the other hand, are considered as herbivores. They tend to gravitate to plants, algae, planktons, right? While juvenile tilapia fish doesn't really care about what they consume, right? That's the difference between juveniles and adults. Now, tilapia food fish are farmed and in wide spaces, and within these wide spaces, these farmers, they usually use manures and fertilizers. The manures usually consist of I call it detrital, detrital, right? Fertilizers used in the production of food fish, right? Production. Well, what happened is that this this ingredient actually help with the growth of planktons, or should I say planktons, and algae within the fish ponds. Now, what I discover in actually researching for this topic is that if you have enough planktons and algae within the water space, your tilapia, your food fish, tilapia food fish will actually love you for that. The drawback is that with the consumption of planktons, you'll get a little bitter taste of the fish in some aspect of the muscles, and also to some extent the fish might taste as if it might taste like mud, right? Tilapia, uh the manure and the fertilizer used in the water spaces that you actually keep your tilapia enhances the nutrition of the fish, so the fish actually stays healthy, right? In times when food are scarce, fish will consume both plants that are alive and plants that are dead. Using fertilizers, sorry, in fish ponds heightens the probability of food fish having enough food to sustain them going forward. Now, in short, using manure and fertilizer in your tilapia food fish pond are great ideas, in which you may use to foster quick growth in your local stock. Now, regardless of the type of stock you do have, monosex or mixed stock pond system, you don't have to worry about providing food for your adult tilapia once you have adopted the use of manure and fertilizer in your pond system. Now, the pond will produce enough food needed for the fish stock to survive. Now, on the other hand, tilapia food fish can be fed leaves from like cassava, sweet potato, cane, maize, papaya, rice bran, fruit, brewery race, example hops, like from local brewery that exists here in Jamaica, I won't call any name. They normally buy the trash that comes from making the beer, and they normally buy it and feed like pigs and cows and sorry, and horses. Right? It can also be used to feed tilapia. You can also feed your tilapia cottonseed cake, peanut cake, along with coffee pulp. Now, if you wish to introduce these food types to your tilapia food fish space, you need to have an intensive circulatory system along with water change, regular water change for many local food fish farmers. It's much easier for them to actually use I call it now manufactured food with specific grades um, to feed specific size fish stock that they have. For example, they would have the powder being used to feed fries. They would have a larger type of feed used to feed juveniles, and the larger feed used to feed adults, right? And going back to what I said regarding the leaves of the plant, right? Now, if you adopt the process of using manure and fertilizer, you'll have some small capsule that has amino acid, fats, and minerals and vitamins to your water. This ensures that your fish stock remains healthy and have a balanced diet. Now, if you're not knowledgeable as to what you're doing, I admonish you to sorry, I admonish you to use manufactured fish food, right? Because you don't want your fish to get sick, you don't want your fish to be underweight, you want your fish to look nice and to actually sell as quick as possible. But these are just um, discovered alternative that you can use so as to feed your tilapia fish stock. Now, feed that are buoyant, that means it floats on the top of the water, are referred to as extruded feed. And extruded feed are actually fed to, like, for example, a koi stick feed are extruded feed, and those feed that you would feed like to fish that stays at the substrate level within your ornamental fish tank, the ones that sink, those are feed that are not extruded, right? The ones that are extruded are more expensive. Remember, I shared with you before that a pound of caustic costs roughly $4,500, and a pound of tilapia fish food that is not extruded will cost roughly between $60 to $80, right? In Jamaica, that's less than $1 US, right? Okay, now when the feed sink to the bottom, as explained into a video that I did a couple months ago, when it sink to the bottom, tilapia is not really craving for the idea of going to the bottom and actually scoop up the feed that is at the bottom, right? At that point in time, it is not to suggest that tilapia doesn't consume from the base of the substrate, right? It's just that at that moment they actually catch the feed as you're actually placing the feed in, and that's how they feed. And after a while, the one that actually lands on the substrate of the pond will actually stay there, melt away, rot, and actually cause water quality issues. Now, it is important to know that while homemade fish food might be cost effective, and I alluded to this a while ago, right? That you should ensure that the nutritional intake of the fish is on par to what is expected, so as to provide so as to yield so as to provide great yield in your production of food fish. So whether it sinks or afloat, this type might be better for you. That is the extrusion type, right? It's important for you to just what I call it now. To me personally, whether it sinks or it floats, right? I would prefer to get tilapia manufactured feed, rather than try to actually make the feed myself, because you know, between 8 to 10 months a tilapia fish will be able to be harvested. Now if I should be making the feed for myself, it it's gonna take a while, because you know you have a lot of fish. You have like probably about 10,000 tilapia in a pond, and to make so much feed for all of it, it's gonna be time consuming, and you can't do everything yourself. I think it's somebody a boss for, you know, make a money. Well, happy fish keeping, guys. I hope that this share was of value. Have a productive day. Peace out. Catch you next time.